Rock dog, great and learned Dr. Steve. I can't help to think about the spiritual aspect of epic fury. The regime in Iran is the definition of evil. Christians, Jews, and Muslims are joining the U.S. to crush them. All of this is around the Easter season. I can't help to think about divine intervention. Your thoughts? Yeah, and I think we bombed them on the first day of Ramadan or something like that as well. So, oh yeah, no, I think, I mean, I'm going to think more in, again, my scholarship is just that. It's very, very much rooted in studies. So, I don't get speculative here, which could be cool. I mean, you could go there. I'm just not the best person for that. This is theopolitics on steroids. And in the world of theopolitics, religion is front and center in all matters of public life. So you've got the Shiite theocracy. They are theopolitical to the core. Their whole legitimating narrative is that they've been ordained by God, by Allah, to destroy Israel and to humiliate the great Satan. And then they have an entire proxy network in the region, or did, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and you could call that messianic multipolarity that's shared in that vision, and forced the politics in their respective countries, Yemen, Lebanon, Israel, to move in Gaza, obviously, to move in the direction of Iran as over and against the Knesset in Israel and DC and the West in general. And then what's fighting them? It's the Abraham Accords. It's Christian, Jewish, and Muslim alliance around a shared patriarchal identity of Abraham. And within that alliance, they are effectively theocracies, constitutional theocracies. Saudi Arabia is a theocracy. Some would argue Israel is a de facto theocracy, a soft theocracy. It doesn't have a constitution, but it does have a court. So constitutional theocracies are sort of archaeo-modern, or in the sense that you have a religion that overtly must shape all legislation, but that once the legislation is shaped, a secular court comes in and determines whether or not it violates, human rights or autonomy or whatever, whatever kind of protective laws they want to, or protective guardrails for not allowing the religion to go too far. So it's known as constitutional theocracy. And in many ways, that is what Israel is. It doesn't have a constitution, but it is a theocracy. The Haredi Jewish population is nearly 50%. The left wing has died in the Knesset. It's just not even there anymore. So it's right. It's hard right. It's harder right, and so you have a court system there. It's supposed to be separate, but more or less Bibi's, Netanyahu's reforms have more or less brought it in line with the ideology of the Knesset. And but nevertheless, it is a secular court that judges theological applications to civic life. So all of this is 100% theopolitical that's going on. Even the United States, there are theorists who think the United States is a soft, what's called a soft theocracy, where especially with our Supreme Court that uses natural law, the conservative majority, they appeal often to kind of natural law forms of thinking that resist the liberal progressivism that dominates the three leftist judges. And natural law is seen as an expression, particularly of Catholic theology. So, in a sense, we're being ruled. These are what scholars are arguing, ruled by a soft theocratic sentiment, as well as just the strong, very strong, Christian Zionist sentiments here among dispensationalists and the like. So, yeah, I think this is a very, very theological conflict. So in my book, on the civcosm, civilizational cosmocracy. The opening intro or forward or whatever is all about this war, and it's about the theopolitical dimension. Remember, a civcosm is made of theopolitics, technopolitics, and astropolitics. So the theopolitical aspect of this conflict is front and center in my study of it. So yeah, definitely. Thrawn, if the VRA is overturned, Virginia loses, and Florida redistricts, how many seats will the GOP have before the midterm? I had a count on the. It depends what your baseline is, and that's hard. It depends what your baseline is. So you could do a baseline based on, say, like Cook Political Report of what they predict Republicans are going to get. I think they've got the Republicans like at 2010 right now, or 210 or 212 or something like that. So you could go there. So say you go 212, Florida redistricts. So that's 216. So we'd have to win 2. But if you go with the 218, but again, you go with the 218 because you said that Virginia loses. Oh, and then you have the VRA overturned. Sorry, I'm for some reason I missed that. Yeah, I think it's around 230 if you get that, because I think a conservative number is 212. I'm sorry, I'm getting all my numbers from Excel. Conservative number for how many seats we'd pick up, VRA is overturned, is 12. Politico has it at 19, but Seth Keshel has it more at 12. And Seth is, Seth proves his worth every election. He's pretty amazing in terms of how he can project. So he sees it as 12. So then the question is, 12 and then 4 more, so that's 16. So where's your baseline? That's your question. Is your baseline at 210? Right? Well, if there's 16 there, that's what, 226? But if your baseline's lower, we can get around the, back under 218. So it's just bottom line, it's where's your baseline? No matter what, and this is key, no matter what, there's a very low ceiling for everybody. We're not going very far above like a, 226 or something like that, or 230. We're just not, that's just, no one's going to get much more above that. It's the level of gerrymandering that's happened now is pretty much made 90+% of the seats a foregone conclusion. It's baked into the cake, which is not good. Let's be honest. Look, if we're playing power politics, we got to do it. There's no question about it. But it's not good because then in the end, parties are picking their constituents rather than the other way around, right? But regardless, if you've got to fight a war against the Democrats, you might as well do it. So I think with the 16 picked up seats, again, I'm assuming 4 from Florida, 12 from VRA. We may be around 220. So it depends on your baseline. And I'd have to look at the latest from the Cook Political Report. I thought they had 2010. I keep doing that. 210 as the Republicans right now, pretty much guaranteed. So we just need 8 seats in the end. And VRA overturned and Florida redistricting should do it.